Call the meeting to order. City of West Liberty, Iowa, April 6, 2021. Earlier this evening at 6:15, the City Council held a work session in reviewing an ordinance for operating golf carts, ATVs, and UTVs in the City of West Liberty. And now we are here at the regular scheduled City Council meeting. We have all councilors present. Councilor Smith is on Zoom tonight. The rest are physically present at the library. Also in attendance at the library is Interim City Manager Elizabeth Hanson and City Treasurer Clerk Lee Gertz. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody oppose? Passes 5-0. We're on to the consent agenda tonight. Has five items in front of us. The regular city council meeting minutes of March 16th, the special council meeting minutes of March 31st, city clerk treasurer reports for January 2021, and we have two liquor licenses in front of us tonight, Flama's Nightclub, and also liquor license for the Muscatine County Fairgrounds.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I know that Chief Lear was going to be a little bit late. I had not heard of any violations or anything. Okay. Is there any discussion, questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody? Any opposed? Passes 5-0. We have two vendor vouchers claims list in front of us tonight. The first one is the prepaid claims of March 26th in the amount of $178,000, $1,780,611.43.
Motion.
Is there a second? Motion is second. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody oppose? Passes 5-0. We have the second vendor vouchers claim in the amount of $493,076.27.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody oppose? This also passes 5-0. Is there any public comments or correspondence? We do not have anyone in the audience at the library. Is there anyone on Zoom that needs to address the council or would like to address the council?
And if they want to, they can use their hand emoji, and if they wanted to raise that, just in case if I didn't see them.
Okay.
But I don't see anyone, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Well, let's go ahead and go through the councilors. Let's go ahead and start with Councilmember Smith.
Nothing.
Councilmember Bronick.
Nothing.
Councilmember Zacharias. Councilmember McFerrin.
A couple of things. While I was downtown this weekend, I got a very, very good compliment from a visitor from out of state, from Camden, South Carolina, that just raved about West Liberty and thought it was a very unique town. So I thought that was special. I'd share it with everybody. And then the second thing is, it was brought to my attention that the empty lot at the top of Short Street at the dead end is starting to acquire quite a bit of trash, including furniture and appliances. And there seems to be quite a, I don't know if it's a sinkhole or an old cistern, but it's collecting standing water. And it's just getting out of hand. I don't know, I know that the lot is owned by people out of state, but I don't know if there's anything that can be done.
Councilman McFerrin for sending information over to us. I did forward that on to Sherry Hopper and we'll Chief and we'll do contact previously with that space because I know that lot had come up before and we're gonna review those notes and we'll follow up with a nuisance letter on the property. And also we invited us to with the apartments. We appreciate and this will continue to work with the property. Okay, you posted.
And that's it, that's all I have.
Okay. Lee, do we have anything on it?
I received an email from Karen Thurnis, just requested a service request to Public Works. There was an embankment there on Holden Avenue, I believe, that just had suffered some damage due to still being pushed, and so the street department was fixed and seeded. And then the other one was Cindy Wilson. She had also reported that there was some damage to property near her. That they on their schedule to that Houston did. Adam's out of the office this week, so I'll follow up with him and I'll make sure that those things are.
Yes, and I appreciate that. I know Adam was on top of that email and responded to you and the rest of the city. Appreciate that. Interim city manager Hanson.
I did not receive any correspondence.
I do not have any. We'll head on to old business, discussion appropriate follow-up on the utility study report and recommendations.
I did print off all the reports. I know I emailed them with you for your packets. I did. Any questions for?
Mr. Mayor. You guys are cutting out really bad. I mean, we're getting a word here and there. We're not getting a good quality.
Okay.
See if I can do something with the audio. We'll just go ahead and try that.
Davis, everyone cutting out?
Yes.
Okay.
What about now, Dave?
You sound good right now, but when Lee talks, I'm getting about every third or fourth word. Right? I mean,
He's further away from it than the rest
Yeah.
of us.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to have her speak
Do you
up
want me
when
to
she
move it down
speaks.
just a little?
I'll just make sure if I need to move up, I'll move up if needed to speak to you. Did you hear that, Dave?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I just need to speak a little louder.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Council, discussion, reference utility studies? Any discussions?
Leo, do you have anything to add to this to tell us that, point us in a direction of or something? I don't know.
You're muted, Leo.
Sorry about that. We are done with the water and sanitary study as well as the stormwater. We did write a resolution, drafted, I think Elizabeth has it for the stormwater. We didn't do anything for your water because I think that's just you're keeping the rates the same, but every water and sanitary stay the same. And we did write a resolution for your stormwater. So I think that, I guess, just should be put on some kind of an implementation schedule.
Okay. Thank you, Leo.
And that is on the agenda later to set a public hearing to look at a draft, and it's actually in the packet for you all to look at ahead of time.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. We will go ahead
Do we
and,
have to receive and file the water and the,
move on to setting a date for a special meeting for the fiscal year 2022 budget public hearing. This is April 12th at 7:30 PM via Zoom, which would be next Monday, and doesn't require us to come in and be physically in person. So is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? None. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. If you're on to setting a public hearing, the date would be May 4th on an ordinance establishing regulations for operating golf carts, ATVs, and UTVs in the city of West Liberty. I do know that there's some tweaks that are going to need to be made, but the ordinance, as the framework of the ordinance, has basically been reviewed tonight in the work session. We did have a couple of residents that were here that offered some suggestions. And so we are going to go ahead and tweak that framework, but the majority of that is pretty close to being ready for adoption if the council proceeds in that manner.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing.
Is there a second?
second?
It's motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion. All in favor?
all right.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. The next item is.
Hey, yeah, Bob,
Yes.
what's the time on that one? There's no time.
Well, that should be the
During the
city
break.
council meeting.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, and the next item is discussion and appropriate follow-up on the 2080 agreement with the ambulance rural district and fire district. And this is in a draft of amendments for extension. We did have a special meeting last week, which councilors voted to terminate the current 2080 agreement. I've been saying all along in this whole process, I hate the word termination because it's not, the council's has never gave any indication that they want to terminate and separate at all from the rural fire and ambulance districts. It's a legal definition that our attorney says we have to use. And because the 28E agreement is not up to state code, it does not meet the legal standards of the state of Iowa. Counselors have wanted to bring that up to state code. And to do that, we needed to terminate the agreement, because if you do not terminate it, it just rolls over, which at that point, we're still now another year outside of requirements of the state of Iowa. So as anybody has said, termination is not, we're not looking to not provide services to the rural residents. So what's in front of us really is amendment to go ahead and extend June 30th's deadline. Council, you don't have to vote on this. You can deny it. Also, we could vote on extensions at any time between now and June 30th as sees fit. So this was brought up. I thought that we should have this in front of us just in case. This is an option that you guys and gals have that option to extend it if we cannot get something accomplished at time. But I know the Public Safety Committee believes, and well, please tell me if I'm wrong. I'm speaking for you guys, but there's only a few points that you guys thought we could get taken care of within 90 days.
Yeah, there was 3 things that were care of.
See any cooperation from the rural district? We call audit, excuse, but our job is to provide the agreement, put them on the table. Our job is to join us or not.
So, since it is up here for discussion is, and we do have a draft for extension, yes, I would ask if there's any council member that wishes to make the motion to extend 30th deadline at this.
Together.
You guys are cutting out. We're not hearing hardly anything.
You have.
Yeah, so
They're
you,
Hannah.
so Mr. Mayor, as I was saying, you have the 2 draft agreements, and those are the draft agreements with the updates per the last meeting with the trustees in front of you. You could entertain a motion to, for council to approve the draft agreements and table the amendments for a later date if needed. If you wanted council to provide, that permission to proceed forward with the trustees with the drafted agreements that you have before you. Or you can just accept the information and file it and move forward.
Okay, did you hear that, Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Okay, so the 3 points, one of the points our attorney has clarified is whether it's written into the agreement or not, it's in the 28E code of the state of Iowa, which would be enforceable no matter if it's written in our agreement or not. So that puts us down to 2 points of issues with the contract, and they're both attachments. One is clarifying how much money that each entity would put in, and the second would be the if there was ever a termination, a total termination, who would get which fire equipment if it had to be split between the 2 entities. So I guess since there's a second option on the table, does anybody want to make a motion for the second option, which would be to make a motion to accept the draft as it is and come back with the amendments or the attachments, separate option?
Or we could make a motion to have the committee move forward with this 28E agreement and work out everything before June 30th.
Correct.
That's my,
Okay, which I believe we were going to do anyway, but we'll make that motion. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Anybody opposed? Okay, passes 5-0. Can we try to get, if we can try to get another meeting as soon as we can with the individuals? I know, certain criteria is gonna make it possibly a little bit difficult, but let's try to get that.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I will.
Okay, thank you. We're on the new business. The first one, kind of excited for. This is setting a date for a public hearing. This would be April 20th, and this is an application to change the agricultural zone to mixed R1, 2, and 3 for mixed residential development at the northeast corner of East Rainbow Drive and Garfield. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
all right.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Next item is another work session. Going to be in a common theme. May 4th, review the ordinance establishing a storm utility. And this is fiscal year 21 budget amendment and state and local funding of the American Rescue Plan.
Leo, how much time are we gonna need in the work session to go over the ordinance for the stormwater?
I wouldn't think more than a half hour, truthfully, as long as you reviewed it ahead of time, we can talk through it. I guess the other one is probably Elizabeth might have a little better feel on that.
I'll make a motion, we set the work session on May 4th at 6:15. Give us plenty of time in case.
Oh,
Amendment and that item too.
yeah,
Yeah, we have 3 items.
okay.
What day is that one? When did,
May 4th,
okay, thank you.
May 4th at 6:15. Is that, Dave, what does that do for you?
I work that day and I get off at 6:15, so I will not be able to make that.
Okay. All right, well, that's my motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Me,
Passes. Is that a 4-1 or 5-0?
4-1.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I just.
We haven't been so long, you needed to double check.
I hate this delay. Okay, we're down to reports. City engineer, Leo.
Okay, I've got 3 things to report on tonight. Well, number 2, I just sent to Lee and to Elizabeth, but we did get information back from Northway. They gave you about 3 quotes to do different things. We believe that the brushing and re-televising the fixing of well number 2 is needed, and that'll give us the final piece of information that we need to put our report together. That's about $16,000. And like I said, we sent that over, so it doesn't have to be discussed tonight, but maybe on the next council meeting, we can discuss that one. And then once we get that done, then we'll give you a final letter report that tells you what costs and whether we recommend going forward with well number 2 as a prediction. So that's well number 2. The risk and resiliency, Chris Parizek from our office is working away on that. That's due July 1st, and I know she'll have it done by then, but we're working through that one. And the last thing is the city hall and the police station improvements. I don't know if you guys probably know more than I do. I don't know if they've actually physically started, but I've seen a lot of submittals come through and be approved. So things look like they're about ready to start if they haven't yet. That's all I had for tonight.
Yeah, someone was there today.
Okay, great.
Leo, they started on Monday and it's been completely, the chamber has been completely gutted and they are making good time, they said.
The only thing I'd want to make sure we know is that your building inspector is supposed to be kind of keeping an eye on them. And if he sees anything or has any questions, he can call us and we can take a quick look at things. But hopefully he's keeping kind of an eye on what they're doing, especially once they start the next phase, when they start building.
The building inspector, Terry Gertz, he has been working with them on the permits and he will be stopping in and taking a look at the work, when he's nightly. And I also assigned, electric superintendent Ed Traverse and street superintendent Adam Reinhardt during the day. So we had somebody here daily to check on things and
Perfect.
be available if they have questions.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. All I had tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Leo. Any questions for Leo? Okay. Interim City Manager Hanson, anything about beyond your reports?
Actually, just drawing your attention to the appendix A and B of the stormwater utility. Those are what will be coming forward for discussion in that next work session on May 4th. So to that's it tonight. And then another, drawing your attention to the city manager and the police chief searches. In your packet, or in my report, I had mentioned a couple of the dates that we're looking at for, and I don't think anybody wants to do interviews on a Friday, potentially. So bump those up to the Thursday, June 10th, the police chief position, and June 17th for the city manager position. As of late this afternoon, I already have 11 applications for the police chief and 12 for the city manager. On the recruitment side, I was able to get 12 emails out to potential city manager applicants and 5 out to police chiefs, and I still am working on that. And then a few inquiries already too for the first week. So that's good news. For the committees to meet after those all come in, we set the Public Safety Committee to meet on April 20th at 6:15, and the Personnel Committee I'm calling for the city manager search on 4/27 at 4 p.m. And I suppose since those are before council meetings, we could kind of figure out where those would be located. So I'll send out email reminders on that. And then finally, on the employment side of personnel side of things, I had reported that I'm working on the employee manual, the policy and procedure manual. And I've gotten about a quarter through updating that. Once I've completed the personnel manual, then I'm gonna have city clerk look at that, and then we'll send it on to the city attorney before we have a council committee review or work session. So there's some work to be done on that. I don't anticipate that happening until probably June. Okay.
Any questions? None? Let's go on to Lee Gertz. City Clerk Court, anything else you want to add from your report?
Just in addition, I already spoke about the construction began on Monday at City Hall, and they're working very quickly and keeping everything nice and clean as they're moving along. I noticed that, so that's very much appreciative. We also have closed the drop box at City Hall. We still had some customers dropping utility payments in there, but we have, we filled the drop box. So the drop box is now located at the temporary location. We have a new drop box there, and then we still continue to have the drop box at the Casey's available to utility customers that would like to drop their payments off there. And the other thing that I think I had, nope, that was it. Sorry.
Any questions for Lee? Okay. Yeah, Electric Superintendent, Ed Traverse. He's on vacation?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll just take his report as is then. And Adam's on vacation, but did you say that also? Okay, his report will stay the same. What about Chief Lyra? Is he with us?
I don't see Chief Lura with
Okay.
us yet.
Let's go ahead and take his report as is.
Mr.
City,
Mayor, I do know, I'm sorry, on Chief Lyra, he was going to add, Member Veronic had stopped in and had a question on a residence, and Lyra did follow up with that residence and verify that there was a business operating out of the home. He explained to me that he took the time to educate the business owners and explained that they could not operate a business out of a residential area. And he asked that if they wanted to stop by City Hall and we could provide them with some more information, but he wanted just to let Councilmember Veronic know that he did have that conversation with them, and he will keep an eye on the situation.
Thank you.
council members, any committees or anything that you guys want to report on that has not been reported on? Okay, one last thing, I guess. I did meet today with Joe. I don't know if Joe's still up there. I appreciate Joe, his wealth of knowledge and information and reaching out to us. We met with the two Jims, Jim Thornton and Jim, I can't think. Angle. And they're out of the office of the Iowa Economic Development. And so what they were doing was walking through a couple of the buildings downtown that had just been purchased and looking at if there's some emergency money through the state's funding source. And what's that? I can't remember what the funding source.
Community Catalyst.
Catalyst,
Building,
that's it.
Yep, renovation program.
Yes, Community Catalyst. That's what they kept calling it. I couldn't remember Catalyst, but they're working with Emily Gertz and Frank Wagner. His name is escaped. And it walked through the properties, just explain kind of what they would need to do for the grant process, what would help them. And the division, the economic is interested in West Liberty, putting some resources into West Liberty. And so I thought that was a really good meeting today. Facilitate some of our needs that we have in the downtown district. So that went real well. And that's my only report for reports. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
Second. Motion second. Any further? Hearing none. All in favor?
All right.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. We are adjourned.